Trump has talked about sending out $2,000 checks to U.S. citizens. Earlier this year, he also talked about sending a Doge dividend. That didn't materialize. Should U.S. Citizens expect a $2,000 proposal? Is the White House committed to making that happen?
The White House is committed to making that happen, yes, and we are currently exploring all legal options to get that done. I don't have a timeline for you or any further details, but I can confirm for you that the president made it clear he wants to make it happen, and so his team of economic advisors are looking into it, and when we have an update, we'll provide one.
I got two questions. Number one, when am I getting this $2,000 stimmy from Mr. Donald? When is that going to hit my bank account? And number two, is it going to be like the last stimmy where if you make too much money, then you don't get the stimmy? Now, I love a stimmy just as much as anyone else, but don't disqualify me because I'm making too much bread.
It is your friendly 62-and-a-half-year-old single female trying to retire early. All of my social media is full of posts about some sort of $2,000 stimulus check because of tariffs that we've received. I'm just curious, if you received a $2,000 stimulus check, what would you do with it?
Trump talking about $2,000 stimulus checks, man. The last time we got stimulus checks, prices rose 300% within the next 2 to 3 years. If the prices rose 300% from what they currently are now, if you think we can't afford life now, imagine if we get another dumbass $2,000 stimulus check that can only pay the mortgage or the rent, so only could pay for one bill and won't help us long term. How much it will fuck us over long term. We don't want it, Donald Trump.
Okay, so Donald Trump said we are not getting our stimulus checks, the $2,000 ones, until after Christmas, but I have a secret for you. We aren't getting any checks. Don't be a dipshit.
So Trump said that we're so rich, the tariffs are making us so rich, that he's going to give everyone who is in a high-income household $2,000. And I read news articles and stuff about, what could that look like? Put it in my account.
$2,000 stimulus checks, 50-year mortgages. Are we being serious? I think the gap between rich and poor is going to widen like crazy over the next 5 to 10 years.
I know y'all not flipping because the said, I'm going to give y'all $2,000. 1 month's rent, some bills paid. You're still down because of that car payment. You still down because you still got to eat. And I know your ass like to eat out. That shit ain't doing shit. I know you're not flipping on us.
What is going on, guys? JC here. And if you have not heard, the Trump administration is saying that sooner or later they are going to send out $2,000 stimulus checks as a result of savings from tariffs.
One of the things we're going to do, we're going to issue a dividend to our middle income people and lower income people of about $2,000. And we're going to use the remaining tariffs to lower our debt. We're going to be lowering our debt, which is a national security thing. So we're doing a lot of good work. And the numbers were reported so incorrectly. The real numbers are trillions of dollars have been taken in or gotten in terms of investment from the tariffs.
And this video is not political, like all my videos are not political. And I want to talk about this more so from a financial point of view and not from a political point of view. So let's get into it.
So Trump said that we're so rich, the tariffs are making us so rich, that he's going to give everyone who is in a high-income household $2,000. And I read news articles and stuff about, what could that look like? Put it in my account. Don't give me tax breaks. Don't give me this. Don't give me that. Put it in my account. We struggling out here, homie. If you are promising that, just like all your other campaign promises that never came to fruition, put it in my account. I could use that right now. That could save me from a world of pain that your administration has put me under, and there were a lot of Americans under. Yeah, just put it in my account. Can I see it next week? Yeah. I mean, you took away SNAP benefits, right, from hungry Americans, including myself, who's still trying to gain his weight back from all this illness that I'm under. You took that away, but you're promising $2,000 to Americans. Crazy. Probably won't see that for another year, if at all. We'll see. Yeah, just put it in my account. Put it in tomorrow. That'd be great. Thanks, man.
First and foremost, I want to start by saying that this is not to be a judgmental video about folks who $2,000 would make a big difference in their lives. And that's not to say that $2,000 wouldn't make a big difference in my life. Although one $2,000 check actually would not make a big difference in my life. And that's not to say that I'm privileged or I'm rich, because I'm not. But I also understand that there are people out there who it would make a big difference in their lives, such as this guy right here. He's saying that he had some illness that he had to deal with, and it sounds as though because of that, maybe he, and again, I'm making assumptions, but he said that he was using SNAP benefits. And as we know, during the shutdown, there was a time where SNAP recipients weren't receiving their benefits. And so now he's saying, okay, well, you put me through that, essentially, now send me that check. So I can see where he's coming from. Now, there are ramifications of a potential stimulus check, which we'll talk about in a second. But I wanted to first humanize it and say, I understand that there are people who that $2,000 can go a long way in making their life a lot easier.
I don't think people are paying attention, but you need to hear this. $2,000 stimulus checks, 50-year mortgages. Like, are we being serious? I think the gap between rich and poor is going to widen like crazy over the next 5 to 10 years. You are not owning hard assets. If you're not owning anything that will allow your money to grow, you're going to fall behind. And yes, you should be scared. What does this mean? Let me break it down to you. 50-year mortgages will not cure the root problem. It will create more affordability issues over time. You'll be paying more interest over time. You probably won't pay off your mortgage until you're in your 70s or 80s. And it'll also have very little incentives for prices to ever fall.
She mentioned there's going to be a growing divide and a further gap between the rich and the poor. Now, what I'm taking that to mean is that here's the deal. Whenever we stimulate the economy, which is what these stimulus checks are meant to do, they're meant to be stimulating, to put money into the economy and get the economy moving, that cash flows certain places. And a lot of times, if you are someone who is of a lower income, or you're not in a position yet to where you can maybe invest as much as you like to or earn as much as you like to, there are people out there that you're probably, so be back to that person. That person is probably going to use that money to maybe buy some food, maybe to pay some debt that they are in, maybe to, I don't know, get caught up on rent. Whereas someone like me, if I get a $2,000 stimulus check, which I probably wouldn't get, depends on what their income guidelines are, I'd probably just invest it. So now what is that doing? It's just inflating the stock market even further. What is that doing? Increasing my wealth, or increasing the wealth of whoever's getting that stimulus check and investing it. And that person that is not able to do that, it's creating a bigger gap between them and the person that can invest it. And we saw that after COVID, when the stimulus checks were sent out, or during COVID, the stock market had a huge rally. Or we've been in a bull market for a long time now. I mean, the stock market's been going up for a long time now. Whenever they send out these stimulus checks, what it's doing is creating false demand with not enough supply. And that has effects on retailers, what have you. And so for that reason, prices increase. And she made a good example about home prices. And this, she's talking about the 50-year mortgage, not necessarily the check, but it's the same idea. It's about putting a Band-Aid on something as opposed to finding an actual solution. Because let's say with 50-year home mortgages, the person that's scraping by just to get enough to buy that home, they're going to pay so much more interest to these banks. And if you're someone who's selling your home, now you know that that person has the ability to get that mortgage. It's less likely to let the market do what it normally would and have home prices come down because there's less demand from people looking to buy because they simply can't afford it. Now they can afford it just because now you have that 50-year loan, right, which you're just shooting yourself in the foot. And now home prices can stay high because of it. Again, supply and demand. Now, there were other factors that happened in COVID, or during COVID, obviously, that led to inflation, such as supply chain issues, such as lowering of interest rates, all that. But printing of this money, just printing all this fiat currency to send out to people to spend, was a major cause of inflation. If they do it again, it's gonna be just even worse. And who it really, really hurts is people like the guy in the first clip.
I know y'all not flipping because the said, I'm going to give y'all $2,000. 1 month's rent, some bills paid. You're still down because of that car payment. You still down because you still got to eat. And I know your ass like to eat out. That shit ain't doing shit. I know you're not flipping on us. And I guarantee you, the prices of everything else are still going to go up. So what is that stimulus check really doing? Just pushing back the inevitable? You're still going to be struggling. And God forbid they put assistance on that stimulus, because I guarantee you he would take that if it had that on that. Don't let it come out that it was some assistance. He just want to feel like he giving to the needy. I guarantee you that's what it is.
I like this guy's perspective because he's thinking of it from a long-term view. The first guy, and again, not to pick on the first guy at all, was thinking about it more so from a individualistic standpoint and a short-term way of thinking, like, okay, I'm behind on these bills, I have this food to buy, I'm struggling right now, send me that check. I get that. This guy right here is saying, think about the long-term consequences of it. And that ties into what I've been talking about so far with inflation. You know where my mind goes when I hear about this? If it was to be true, and let me tell you this, and again, this is not a political video, but, and again, he said, a lot of people say that Trump's made promises he hasn't fulfilled. Let's be honest, when it comes to politics, whether it's blue, purple, red, green, orange, Tea Party, whatever party you're talking about, every person running for office is going to make promises. And a lot of those promises, they won't be able to fulfill. It's just part of the game. Let's just be honest, no matter what side you're on, middle, left, right, it really just, that's how it's played. That being said, it makes me think to myself, well, if that really was the case, that tariffs was causing us to have all this extra money that can be sent out as stimulus checks, why not just use it to pay off or pay towards the national debt? That's more of a long-term solution, right? Paying towards the national debt as opposed to sending it out to us, and which in the long term would be beneficial to everybody. And so, you know me, I had to look it up because I'm just so curious about it. What does Google have to say about my question? And so the decision to use government funds for paying national debt versus sending stimulus checks involves a trade-off between long-term fiscal health and potential immediate economic relief. So again, like I said, long-term, that's what the second guy's saying. Immediate relief, that's what the first guy's saying. And it's saying the arguments for paying down national debt, long-term economic growth, long-term, lower borrowing costs, great, increased fiscal space, great. You get the idea. Arguments for sending stimulus checks, immediate economic stimulus, household financial relief, job creation in a downturn, and potential self-financing. So you can look into that further in your own time if you like. I'm not going to bore you with the details. Long story short, I'm in the camp of people who thinks we should go through some temporary pain or maybe even some not so temporary pain, which may be easier for me to say because I'm not in the position of the first man, let's say, versus a quick fix Band-Aid solution that will just lead to longer term pain. That's just my perspective. Let me know what you think in the comment section. This is probably a quicker video. I just wanted to give my quick 2 cents on it. And I want to know what your 2 cents are as well. And give me your thoughts from a financial perspective, if you can, versus more of a political perspective, because we can talk about this from a political perspective all day long, but I'd rather not do that because it's so divisive and so polarizing. Not to say that talking about it from a financial standpoint isn't, but it's just less emotional and less ideological. And I think there is a conversation to be had. Anyways, that being said, guys, I appreciate you for sticking around the video. If you enjoyed it, feel free to give it a like and to subscribe. And until next time, make smart financial decisions.